Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and my lovely, wonderful, beautiful subscribers. I'm making this video today about a story that a very good friend of mine has brought to my attention. The story about the unfortunate 17-year-old Scottish Idella Dub. She was vacationing in Germany in 1851 with her family. Her family one day couldn't find her, and they returned to Scotland without her, assuming she died or was captured. They didn't know what happened to her. Well, this is what happened. She climbed to the top of Lannick Castle. It's a really old castle in Germany. When she got to the top, the wooden stairs collapsed because they were rotten, and she was trapped up there. Idella had no food and water. She was trapped up there for God knows how long, but she died of thirst. When she knew that she was dying, she wrote a diary describing the last days that she had, and that diary was found 6 years later along with her rotting corpse. My friend was reading to me the diary pages, and my heart just sank, and I'm feeling really emotional today, and I did cry. This diary made Idella Dub famous. People have debated whether or not it was authentic, but I believe they were. People saw her waving, crying for help, but they just returned the wave back. They thought she was just saying hi, but they couldn't see that she was clearly distressed since the tower was so high. In this diary she talked about wanting to throw herself out of the window as a last resort, but she didn't end up doing that. Her corpse was found in the tower. Either she was too scared or she held on to that last bit of hope that she still had, that she would be saved. We would never know, I guess. The last sentences in her diary were, "All I know is that there's no hope for me. My death is certain. Father in heaven, have mercy on my soul, with two hearts drawn below that." My friend tried to read the rest of her diary to me. It was really hard because of the cursive and the paper was so old, but she read to me this one page that said that two birds visited her window, and it was the last bit of life that she saw, and when the birds flew away, she imagined that they were going to her family for help, and that she cried when they left. So Idella just stayed in that tower for days until she died of thirst. What could she have done to save herself? She could have done a lot of things. She could have jumped out the tower. She could have ripped her dress and made a rope to perhaps climb down. Because people in the Victorian era, especially women, they were wearing a lot of fabric. Like, here's a picture of when they wore so much fabric. She could have perhaps ripped it and then made a rope to climb down. Perhaps she could have used that rope to signal for help at the passerbys who were seeing her waving, but they just thought that she was saying hi. Perhaps she could have stripped naked and flashed everybody, and then people would be like, "Whoa, there's a crazy lady up in that tower. Something is wrong. We gotta go check out what's going on." Perhaps she could have just jumped out. She could have been a lot more resourceful than just waiting up there in that tower. But I do believe the reason why she just stayed up there and waited to die is because of what she was taught from a very young age. Back in the Victorian era, women were taught that a man will always take care of them. There will always be a man, whether that be her father or her husband or a brother. There will always be a man to hold her hand, to be like, to save her, to provide her with everything she needed. But in this situation, there was no man. She was alone. She didn't know what to do. She wasn't taught from a young age to be resourceful in a survival situation. She probably never thought that one day she might be in a position where she had to use her own wit and intelligence to figure out how to live, how to survive, how to get out of the mess she put herself into. Although men love it when women depend on them, they love feeling useful and reliable. Women need to learn how to defend themselves, how to fend for themselves in an emergency situation. And this woman was never taught that. This tragedy really broke my heart. This young girl could have done so much. If only she wasn't sitting back, relying on someone else, hoping to be saved. If only she could have just figured out how to get out of that goddamn tower. Thanks for watching, guys. You could look more into the story, or if you're in Germany, visit the tower. Today it's been restored and you could go check it out. and my hands are covered in paint because I was painting all day long. I posted some new items on my site. I got a bunch of new stuff that I made for sale for you guys to check out. Thanks for watching my video, and stay sane, everybody.